Good evening and salutations, my GH fans. So, we're going to do some of these scenes kind of out of order, but in some ways, from me, in my opinion, it's kind of from best to worst. And the scene I did like was Christina and Nina, because she's Team Nina. That's not why I like the scene, but it's interesting that she's Team Nina. She was not there pretty much shading Jocelyn throughout this episode, at least with Michael. Talking about she needs to sit there and get over the fact that yeah, okay, Sonny wasn't then married to your mom and stuff, but things do happen, and at some point you need to then find a way to get over it. Like you hanging on all to that energy. It's like let that go. Of course, Michael did sit there and give a good counter argument to it, saying if it was Alexis, how would you feel? And at that point, yeah, she didn't really sit there and say much. But when she's sitting there talking to Nina, she's like, yeah, Michael could definitely hold a grudge. Definitely hold a grudge. I mean, the minute that Michael walked in the house and saw Nina, the first thing he sat there and did was give her resting bitch face. I'm like, bro, you need to sit there and take that down a little bit. This is what Nina was sitting there saying when she talked to Michael. She was like, yo, listen, I get it. We're not friends. We may not never be friends. But your attitude is putting people on guard. It's putting Willow on guard. It may start to affect how your children sees me. I want to have a relationship with them. And although you sit there and say, well, I'm not going to get in the way, your body language, your energy is telling a different story. Kids can pick up on that. And I felt like the scene with Nina and Willow bonding, it would have been much more difficult if Michael was in the room. I mean, hell, the minute he walked in, it was like, and that's another thing. He walked in there and he was like, Nina, what are you doing here? I'm like, bro, you do realize that this is also Willow's place, right? And that Willow is like Nina's mother. So like, why are you walking in like you just walked in on an intruder or something? Didn't even really sit there and say hi. And again, I'm not just saying, oh well, you know what, we have some extra food or whatever. Why don't you sit there and just come in and just hang out? No. I'm like, damn, you can't even sit there and be cordial? You know me, I don't even like Nina, but it's like, bro, you need to sit there and take that down a couple of notches. I'm wondering at this point, what the hell is Laura doing? Like, is she just guessing at this point from like house to house and place to place? After she talks to the guy, and the guy's like, well, he practically tells her that Nicholas isn't there. They start trying to walk around different rooms of the house and they don't find her. I mean, they don't find him. And then Laura's just like, well, the next place that we go to. And I'm just like, yeah, but is there some sort of like, is there some sort of plan, you know? Chesney, it seems like it's a big place on top of it being a dangerous place. And I just feel like they don't really, or maybe she's, yeah, I don't feel like she really has that much of a plan. It's like she's just hoping and guessing and everything. And I'm like, hey, listen, they got the money for the budget for those sets, all right, cool, whatever. But and then there's a point where because Laura's sitting there thinking about all the bad stuff that wound up happening, to her family, Lulu, Starbros, or whatever the hell his name is. And Kevin's like, why don't I go down to the lower level this way you don't have to? Laura's like, no, listen, if you go down there, you don't come back up or whatever, how about we just go and face it together? And I'm like, if you were so worried about the danger level, why did you tell Valentin to go back to Port Charleston? You know what I'm saying? Like things just not really adding up with Laura, but okay, whatever. Now Anna and Valentin. Listen, besides, if you're an Anna and Valentin fan, then you're probably gonna like it because they did a little cutesy thing or whatever. But the conversation that they have is just the same conversation that Anna had with Sonny and Dante. More particular about the WSB and maybe somebody is, trying to get her. But that's it. That is it. It's literally the exact same. It's literally nearly the exact same conversation. Doesn't go anywhere. Doesn't really like they're not closer to it. They just rehashing the same crap that already happened. Um, Liz and Finn's date night. They are trying. The sad thing is that I feel like the people that's not gonna like them is not gonna like them regardless what they're doing. Because they always sit there and say the same thing. They don't have chemistry. They're boring. Da, 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 right? And so I feel like a scene like this is like if you don't even like those two characters, then this scene is not going to mean anything for you. But there is one point after they do their little pass notes like they're in high school, and they sit down, they have dinner and stuff, and they do this sort of game about talking about their complications that they're going to wind up having if they get back together. It's kind of a moot point because you can always come up with reasons not to be with someone. You can always come up with reasons not to be with someone. Oh, I like TV. Oh, I don't like TV. Oh, okay, I could just be in separate rooms. Like I don't sit there and tell you. And some of the stuff that they say, like, oh, I like being around. I like looking at a microscope. I don't. Okay, you're not going to have the exact same interests. What I'm saying. You're going to have things that you're going to disagree on. It doesn't really go anywhere. They just sit there and walk out like friends, and then they do this weird, this weird thing where it's like they put both of their faces side by side, and just like every time I look at that, especially with Michael Easton, I'm just like, man, I still remember back in the day when he was Caleb. He was just such a badass. And it's like, how do we get from that guy to this one? I'm sitting there looking at my TV screen. How do we get to like how? Hell, even John McBain, I heard he was a badass. Like, I just Ava and Austin. There's a line where Ava's like, you're not really good at this, right? When Ava found out that Austin was talking to the cops, to Chase, and giving out information that she didn't want to be put out. But I'm like, well, yeah, he's going to be bad at it because he's not a career criminal. He's a doctor. Like, maybe the men that you're used to dealing with might have been able to handle police a little bit better, but he ain't that dude because he's a doctor. On top of that, if you would have held anything and it would have came up later on, if you would have lied, it just would have made them look more guilty. They spend the majority of the time talking about Gordon, and if Mason could have done it, Austin's petrol of Sonny, and he doesn't like the idea that Sonny knows. He knows a lot more as far as Ava killing Nicholas and things of that nature. He also thinks that he's going to whack Austin for some odd reason. I don't. He thinks that Sonny's going to whack him. I'm like, okay, doesn't really go anywhere. They wind up kissing, and then that's really much about it. Michael gets back after practically chasing Nina out. You know, Willow talks about how she wants to go back to work. She wants to be a productive member of society. She pretty much here's the thing. She doesn't want to be cooped up in that damn house any longer, right? As for weeks she's been in the hospital, and then she's been at another place. It's like she wants to sit there and start getting better and going back out and living life. And Michael's like, well, I think you need to sit there and he talks about like just make sure that family's priority and stuff like that. It's like, Michael, I get it, you almost lost her, right? I get you want her safe and you're at home and stuff like that, but it's like you gotta let her go out and see beyond those damn four walls. I guess it was somewhat of a decent conversation. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. As much as I don't like Willow and Michael that much, I think it was an interesting conversation. Here's the thing. If you take those two characters out and you put in any other two characters and you put the same scenario, I think it will be interesting. You know, um, Michael really just want to make sure he spends as much time with her. At the near death experience like that, And people have been through that in real life, so it's like it's something that's relatable. Man, I'm not gonna lie. As I sat there and said, I was like, I probably would have been much more invested if it was any other two characters um having this conversation. Unfortunately, it does come back to the writing with those two, so there's that. Anyway, I feel like that's pretty much about it on this. Yeah, I think I kind of like covered pretty much everything. This episode wasn't super great. I felt like they could have did something to actually have a cliffhanger, like more of a really good cliffhanger. One of these episodes seemed like it's going to be good. At least the players in it's going to be, are interesting. So, but for Friday's episode, as far as it is definitely lacking. It's not the worst episode I saw, but it was like, and then even when you have a good conversation, like with Michael and Willow, well, you have Michael and Willow, so then like, like that's the part that kind of just brings down the scene a little bit. It's literally those two. Anyway, I feel like that's the majority of everything. If I miss anything, because I feel like I've missed something, I want to doing this review like at least twice because I don't know. I found this episode to be somewhat hard to cover. I found this episode to be somewhat hard to cover because it's like it didn't really give you much. Like it didn't really give me much to work with. It was like I literally had to like pull out as much stuff that I could sit there and think about. That was like, this is somewhat sort of interesting. Yeah. Anyway, with that being said, I'm gonna go. Thank you for watching. Stay safe. If you missed anything, you know what to do. Come to a live stream tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. We'll sit there and talk about it. All the shows, B&B, Wire, and our days. And if you're not a member, you're definitely gonna want to join. Members live streams are always very fun. They're pretty safe. They're very chill. And this weekend, I'm gonna have my guy Kyrie. He's gonna be sitting there spilling some tea. So if you're not a member, hit the join button. Definitely become one because Sunday's gonna be a good day. Sunday's gonna be a good day. Also, tomorrow's gonna be a good day too because outside of live streams are always fun. So yeah, if you're not a member, hit the members. Hit the join button. Also share the video. Share the video. It's actually really been helping. Yes, the like button definitely does help. The sharing button also helps because if you put it on any other social platform, let's say Twitter or Facebook or Instagram and stuff like that, that's new people that is going to be joining the chat. And I felt like we actually had a couple new people this week. And I felt like that was because people were sharing the video. I wound up taking down. There's a post I wound up taking down because I have to try to find a way to fix the link to the GoFundMe thing that I'm going to be doing for the celebrity soap opera, the soap opera celebrity cameo that I made a GoFundMe for. But the link is acting up, so I gotta try to sit there and see what's going on with that. Then I'll put it back up, and if there's another soap opera celebrity that could do cameos for 400 or under, then I'll add that person's name on there. I know a lot of people want to see more GH characters. Fiona Hughes was actually pretty popular in my last poll, so in Kim Shriner it seemed like well. But if I can find some more, and I'll do the poll after I get the link fixed, then I will definitely put that out there. So with that being said, I'm going to go. I want to thank you for watching. Stay safe, and I'll see you in the next video. Also, if you didn't get a chance to sit down and watch the interview that I had with Nathaniel Gray on my live stream, improv interview, but it was a lot of fun. Check that out. It's in my live stream. It's the second half. It's like 2 hours and 14 something minutes. So you can sit there and just go right. I tried to clip it, but if you're not a verified account, it's not going to let you clip it. It only lets you clip it up to like 15 minutes. And I felt like we went a little bit longer than 15 minutes, but definitely check that out. Definitely check that out. It was a lot of fun. Um, you never know what's going to wind up happening in the live streams. And that was literally something unexpected. I did not plan it. I did not have any questions lined up or anything like that. But I don't know. It was fun. So it's also always a good idea to come to a live streams because you just don't know. You don't know who's going to show up, who's going to come through, and all that good stuff. Anyway, with that being said, I'm going to go. Thank you for watching. Stay safe, and I'll see you in the next video.